All this filament, an empty printer, let's print what you want. It's Filament Friday. This week's Filament Friday suggestion comes from subscriber Coda Earnhardt. It's the T-Rex skull from Thingiverse user Curriculum. This is a complex print and comes in 4 pieces. This may be a Thingiverse Thursday and Friday print. So let's load the skull into XYZware and get started. So I downloaded the first file, which was the top of the skull. This was the biggest piece and probably take the longest to print. It came in at this angle, and even though it didn't seem like the best angle to print at, it didn't seem bad either, so I decided to just go with it. So I clicked the print button, I chose 15% fill, and I did a 0.2 layer height. I also added supports. Now the slicing took a little while, but when it was done it said it took about 9 hours to print this thing. So I sent it to the printer at night, and I figured I'd just check it out in the morning. So I got up early the next morning, and the top of the skull was still printing. So then I loaded the lower jaw into XYZware and used its stock position. I printed the same way with supports, 0.2 layer height, and 15% fill. This one it said it would take 3 hours and 36 minutes. So I sent that one to my second 3D printer. And then the next step was to load the base. The base was one piece, and then there was a post that goes into the base. Well, I decided to print these together. So I positioned them so the base was in the middle, and then the post was towards the front. I did these at 0.3 layer height, 15% fill, and it said these would take 4 hours and 26 minutes. So I sent this one to the printer that the skull was on because it had finally completed. And then watched them run. So it looks like all the prints are done. This was the skull that I printed last night, and it was done this morning. So I held off on cleaning it off or taking any of the material off yet, any of the support. But it looks really good actually. And this was printed at 0.2 at a 15% fill, I think it was. It's got a few boogers in the mouth here that need to be cleaned up in between the teeth. But it looks pretty good. And now the other two are done. I've got the jaw over here. And I've got the stand over here. And it turned out good. The corners didn't round up. The glue held it down. And it even says Tyrannosaurus Rex on the front. And this was printed at 0.3 where these were printed at 0.2. So it looks pretty good. Now, will the post fit? Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Very nice. And it's even got a locator so it doesn't spin. This is a nice design. It really is. So I'm going to clean these up now and take the supports off. And I won't make you watch the whole thing. I'll speed this up a bit. And then we'll put the whole thing together and see how it looks. Okay, so the pieces are cleaned up, and I actually used a brush to brush its teeth. It worked pretty good, breaking off little strings and stuff and the little nerds and boogers that were stuck to it. The front teeth here have a little bit of, I don't know, deforming. They kind of merged together a little bit. So that is definitely a weak point in this print for the Davinci. So it almost looks like it got a little bit too hot. But from the front, you can't tell. You can only tell by looking at the back. So overall, though, this is a quality print. I've got a little bit of a flaw right here. And this printed like that. So it was, looks like it wasn't supported as well as it should have been. Again, it's a little bit like over melted. And then the bottom here is really smooth where it's sat. So that kind of looks strange. But this jaw looks really good. The teeth came out a lot better in this one than they did on the front. They're not as close together. So it looks pretty good. Now these two snap together. There's a slot here and a notch. So I'm going to put those together. See if they fit. Oh yeah. Snapped right in place and it holds. Oh, that's well done. So this is probably the only part that kind of looks bad on it because it was flat. I wonder if I can carve that up a little bit. Not too much. But now we stick it on the stand. It goes in. And there you have it. Wow, that is a great print. I like it. I could see this in school, you know, showing a kid what a Tyrannosaurus Rex looks like, and maybe there's other dinosaur heads out there. I'll have to look for them. And it came out good. This is printed with XYZware on a Davinci. Pretty good print. Pretty good quality. And this isn't even the stuff like I used for the light switch, Frankenstein light switch, which is the natural. And this is where I get the best prints with this material. And that probably would have looked better as a skull. But to me, Tyrannosaurus Rex is green, even though I know his bones aren't green. But I liked green. It just fit. Plus I had extra of this plastic left, so I could easily do this print. So there you have it. Oh, it's a little bit warped. No, it's my table. So there you have it. Filament Friday, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Some subscribers have asked me to show my print close up. So I figured I'd zoom in on this one. And what it shows is I need to do a little more cleanup of where the support material was. But you can see the texture came out pretty good at the 0.2 layer height. There were parts where it's really, really smooth. And then there's other parts where it's obviously lines like a 3D print. The base probably should have been done in a 0.2 as well. It looks a little grainy on top. But for a first time run, I'm really happy with this. And then if I did a little acetone finish, it'd look even better. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. That way I know you're watching. And if you have an idea for Filament Friday, leave it in the comments below. A link to the Thingiverse file or wherever it's located, and I'll check it out. See you next time.